Hey, how you guys doing? This is Neil, and I have a new tutorial for you guys. And this tutorial is going to show you how to properly take your seeds. So once you have sprouted your seeds or germinated them using my method, well, now you need to transport them into the rockwool cubes. I recommend transporting them in rockwool cubes first for the next 10 days to get a nice root system going, or 10 days or less before putting them in their final pot. But you could also put them in the rockwool cube and then put them in their final pot. I recommend doing it that way, but if you really want, you could try to carefully put them inside the coco, and then. But anyway, I just recommend doing it this way, just like a two inch by 2 inch rockwool cube. And here's how it goes. Here's the stuff you're going to need. So the products you'll need are the following. This is optional: root growth platinum, which you can find at perfectsunled.com. So root growth platinum will help them really get a head start in developing a lot of roots very quickly. It has a good amount of of a high abundance actually amount of the plant hormone that will do this. You can read all about it on the website. Anyway, so that's the first thing that we're going to need. This is optional. You don't have to use this to have a nice healthy plant. You can, and if you already have like a something like Rapid Start or root growth, or not root growth, sorry, what is it called? Roots Accelerator Gold. If you already have that, you can use that until it's gone. But I recommend switching over this because this is better. It has more stuff in it. It has fulvic acid, which does so much for the plants. Also helps roots develop quickly and fast. It also helps them have more oxygen uptake, photosynthesis. It just does so much for the plant. Fulvic acid is absolutely amazing. Does so much for your plant, and that's in here as well. So anyway, the next thing you'll need is a syringe, something to quickly, easily measure your nutrients with to make sure you have the right amount of nutrients going in. You'll need Complete A and B. Right, Complete A and B by Perfect Nutrients. Again, you can find it on the website and the links in the description. But you can use your own nutrients as well, but this is the nutrient that I'm using. You'll need rubber bands. You'll need rockwool. I'm using the 4x4 rockwool cubes, which I'll be cutting down to 2x2 cubes. But if you already have the 2x2 cubes, that's fantastic. And you'll need a bucket of water or just something that has water in it. And so I start with, I'm using a half a gallon of water because I figured I don't need a full gallon of water for this. So I'm just doing a half a gallon of water. And so I'm going to cut everything in half. Normally we do 2 milliliters of A and B, and we would do, for the root growth, we would actually do 1 milliliter per gallon, but I'm going to do half a milliliter instead. One thing I actually forgot to do in this video, and so just know you can also add this. I mean, you don't have to add this for the first 10 days. You can wait till after that to start adding it. But you could add it now too, and that is the fulvic CalMag. So you can check that out as well. Or you can just use like CalMag Plus if you don't have the fulvic CalMag. But the fulvic CalMag is awesome because it adds more fulvic acid, and also it's just a better chelating agent because it actually penetrates into the cell walls of the plants. This is the only CalMag I know that does that. I don't know any other CalMag that uses fulvic acid as a chelating agent. Probably because it's so expensive. Because it's a lot more expensive than EDTA when you have to add it. Anyway, so we're going to start by adding some of the root growth platinum. Be careful how you take this off to not splash in your face. It has like a little plug. So I just like go around the plug little by little, as you can see there. So I didn't really get all this on camera, but I kind of go around the plug here with my nail, just like that, and take it out carefully. Or you can use like a knife or something. Just don't like pop it off like facing your face because it might pop up in your face. And so it's just, anyway, pretty easy to take it out. Just I don't recommend using the little handle that comes in it. So here you see me measuring out to a half a mil. Each one of those lines is a milliliter, so I use a half a line. And then I stir it up I rinse the syringe out with water each time, and then I stir it up as well. And put the plug carefully back in. You need the plug so it doesn't leak. You don't have to put the plug back in if you know you're not going to be like traveling with it or tilting it sideways or anything like that. If you just put the cap back on, it'll be fine. And for the most part, it's not going to leak anyway. You have to like shake it up quite a bit for it to leak. But if you're going to travel or something like that with it, you definitely have to put the plug in. The plug's there mainly for shipping, so it doesn't like leak during shipping. So you could just put the cap back on if you want. Stir the water up a little bit. And the next thing we're going to use is Complete A. Now, normally I would do this at 2 milliliters a gallon, but I'm going to do 1 milliliter a gallon because I'm only using half a gallon of water. So just divide it in half. So what I like to do is I like to stick it start back here a little bit. I like to stick it right into the bottle if there's enough in there. And then I like to pull it out much more than I need, right? So I can see the liquid there. You can see it's like a nice blue color, which is just dye that doesn't hurt your plants, just food coloring. A lot of nutrients companies do this so you can tell what, but just by looking at the color, you can tell which is which rather than just being clear. And it just looks more interesting than if it were clear. So like general hydroponics and so forth, put dye in their stuff. Yeah, that's if they're using nice pure minerals. If they're not using nice pure minerals, then their stuff is already gonna have a color to it, most likely a brown kind of color, like a turd color to it. Anyway, so we're gonna drip this out to 1 milliliter, which is right there, and we'll put that in the water. And then you can clean this out a couple times with just the water in there, stir it, and then pull the water into it and squirt it out. Now we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to do B. So the same way I stick it into the and pull the nutrients out. Now, if it gets to where the bottle is getting low, like it's way down here, you can just tilt the bottle and still use the syringe to get it out. Or you can pour this into like a shot glass or something and then get it out that way. And if you're doing like large amounts, like you're making big batches at a time, then I usually just do the shot glass anyway, and those lines are usually accurate enough. And they're not super accurate, but they're accurate enough to get what I need. These are a lot more accurate though for smaller amounts. Right, so you can see the stuff that has a nice on camera. You can't really see the nice beautiful green. It kind of looks more yellowish on camera, but in person it has this nice beautiful green color. All right, so we put that in there and stir it up. Make sure to stir it up each time. I'm putting in my pH meter by Blue Labs to check the ppms, and I can see that it's a little bit low. That should be what happens anyway, because naturally RO water is going to be low because there's no buffers in it, right? It's stripped out all the buffers like the CalMag, and so there's nothing in it to help raise the pH like your tap water has. So I'm using RO water for this, and it naturally has a more acidic. And once you add nutrients to it, which are more acidic, then it's going to drop the ppm, or it's got the PM. It's going to drop the EC down, not the EC. That's, oh my God, dude. It's going to drop the pH down. Sorry, my brain. And so what I use here is, because this is beneficial for the plant, and I do plan on in the future having my own silica, because I think I can offer a super high quality silica, so you know what you're getting is super high quality. Because I've been using HEFA group minerals, which are amazingly high purity, and then also Yara, which is a really good company as well. But anyway, so I'm thinking about making my own silica as well, just because I can probably offer it for at least the same price or better price, and you're getting top quality. So anyway, so this works as a pH up. And I usually use this it's not usually quite as strong as a pH up. You might have to use a bit more of it, but this adds a little bit of silica to your plants, which is really beneficial and healthy. And so, yeah, might as well add something beneficial and healthy since you have to use pH up regardless. Now, notice what I did here. Because I can't fit the syringe in there, instead of going and finding one of my smaller syringes, I just put it tightly against it so there's like a seal made. Then I tilted it to where it's like almost upside down, then pull it out like that. And that worked just fine. And then I add just a couple drops, and then I check the pH, add a couple more drops, check the pH. And then once I'm at like 5.8, I'm good to go. And there we go. Now, I did actually end up rising to like 5.9, but I'm not too concerned with that because I'll be watering every day with 5.8. So I'll re-pH that water to 5.8 the next time I water it the next day. And so it should be fine. Not should be, it will be fine. No reason to be anal about it. And then after this, you can see how we need to do next. So the next thing we need to do is we need to, in that same water that we made, is soak our rockwool. So if you already have your rockwool at 2x2 cubes, then you just soak those cubes in this water for a little while. If not, you have bigger ones like this, soak them and then use a knife to cut them down. So I'm just cutting them down to 2x2. Then I'll let them soak in there. All right, so once we have made our water and everything's good to go and we soaked our rockwool, well, now we need to take a piece of rockwool and our seed and cut the rockwool in half. So just take a knife, carefully cut the rockwool in half. I like to use a scissoring motion. And we have a nice clean cut. And then we're going to take our seed that has already begun to grow. As you can see, it's quite long. But because we used colossal P to dip the, and we go ahead and place it here. I'm just making, see all the part that's fuzzy? I want to make sure all the fuzzy part is in there because everything that's smooth, that's actually the stem. And put it together, and then we're going to put a rubber band around it. But because we use colossal P in the first step to soak our coffee filters in to germinate them, they have a nice head start. And look how strong that root is. Even though that root is long and this thing has seen no sunlight, right? It's been in the dark, no nutrients, just colossal P. That was it. Like it's so strong and healthy, and I haven't actually seen that before, so that's really awesome. All right, so that's it. That's the whole process, and that ends this segment. Then you want to just take that and put it inside the humidity dome. So after you have all your plants done, I like to get one more watering with them. So I just fill up my syringe with that feeding water that we just made, and I just put a little bit over each plant like that. And then you can put the dome over this and put it under your light in your nice grow room. Make sure it's a nice temperature. Your grow room should be around 80 degrees or so once the lights and everything get it nice and warm. But if not, even if it's like at 70, that's fine. Just know that you might not get as fast of growth at this stage at that lower temperature because it takes a little longer for the roots and all to grow. So 80 temperatures it's an ideal temperature. So if your grow room isn't super warm and you want ideal growth, you can also put this, your tray, your humidity dome on top of a heating mat that you can buy on Amazon, but the plant heating mats are like black. And you can just put it on top of that, and that will give it that extra bit of heat you need inside your humidity dome to warm it up. Or just put it closer to the heater inside your grow room, or just put a heater in your grow room if you don't have one yet, and try to get it up to 80 degrees. But honestly, if you're using a closed system and you're using a pretty big light, then that should give you enough to bring it from that 70 degrees up to 80 degrees. Usually it raises the temperature about 10 degrees more. Okay, cool. So that's that, and that's how you do this stage. So that's how to get your seeds from the coffee filter into the beginning stages into their rockwool cubes, which will be, once we see roots coming out of these things, once you see roots start to poke out, that's when you then transplant these into their final pots, which I'll show in the next tutorial. All right, thanks for watching. And if you've liked this video at all, do me a favor, smash that like button, leave a comment down below, I much appreciate it. And check out the grow book, growpotcheaply.com on Amazon by Neil. So if you don't know where that's at, well, you can just go to my website, which might not be up right now, but it's going to be up again soon, growpotcheaply.com. But again, just search on Amazon for Grow Pot Cheaply and then Neil, and it should come up that way.